Hey guys, welcome to this video. Today we're going to be going through all the books that I read in 2020. Today is the last day of the year and I don't think I'll be finishing any more books, so I thought I might as well go ahead and film this. I just think it's kind of interesting to see how much everybody reads and what everybody reads. I probably read less than a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people that are making these videos. I only read 50 books this year, which to me is a lot. I know to other people that's not much. But you have to also consider the differences in reading. Some people read a lot of graphic novels or middle school books, which maybe don't take as much time. Some people just read faster than I do, and some people just generally have more time. If people are making money off of YouTube and their channel is a booktube channel, they probably are just going to have more time to read in general, I would assume. That might not be a correct assumption, but I do work a 40-hour-a-week job, and you know, sometimes I like to try to exercise or play video games, and so there are definitely times when I put reading off. So for me, 50 books is an achievement, even though I did read my fair share of graphic novels and comics. So anyway, let's get into what I read this year. Some of them I did read through audiobook, or trying to think if any of them were library books. I don't think so this year, simply because COVID and, libraries haven't really been open. So I think it's mostly just been audiobooks. So I'm going to try to go in order. I'll show you the book if I have it. If not, I might pull it up on Goodreads or something, or just like insert something in edit. I don't know. So the first book that I read this year, back in January, was Scarlet. Series is a good series. It's the second book in the series. I'm not going to go through and give a synopsis or a rating on every single book, or we'll be here forever, but I did enjoy this book and I do recommend the series. Next, I read The Conference of the Birds. I believe it came out shortly before I read it. I'm not 100% sure though. Again, I really love the series. The problem that I have is there's so much gap sometimes between the books coming out that I kind of start to forget what's happening in the next one. But I do enjoy the series. The movie was not good. Don't watch it. Then I also read The Night Circus. This I read as an audiobook. I apparently rated it 4 stars. Oh, there we go. That's it. I'm probably going to do this because I'm lazy and don't want to have to add the pictures while I'm editing. Let's be real. I also read, we're going to keep this PG, on F Yourself, Get Out of Your Head and Into Your Life. You'll notice there's a theme of me reading a lot of books like that. I guess that's what 2020 did to me. So then we read A Danger to Herself and Others. And this is a period of time where I was reading a lot of audiobooks. I think it's because at work we were kind of slow, and so I was listening to a lot of audiobooks while I was working. This was before I got my new job. My new job, I don't do that because I feel like I just have to think a little bit more. Quick on that book, I do recommend A Danger to Herself. Obviously, I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, but trigger warning, it is about a girl who's a danger to herself and others. And you can kind of read into what exactly that means, but I believe, if I remember correctly, it covers some like self-harm, suicide kinds of themes, so if you're sensitive to that, it might not be a good book for you. Next, I read the Bible. So I started reading it at the very beginning of 2019 and finished it in the beginning of 2020. I then listened to Love Her Wild, which is Atticus poetry. Poetry is okay. Apparently, yeah, I gave it 3 stars, so it's good. I wouldn't say it's amazing poetry. You can go check out the Instagram page, and that pretty much tells you what you need to know. Okay, finally, a physical book. So, Saga Volume 5. I do really enjoy the series, but if you are a younger viewer or reader, or you're just really sensitive to blood and gore and sex and things like that, don't read it. Don't read it. It is not for you. Next, I read Strange Planet, and this is really more of like a coffee table or a bathroom book. It just has a bunch of cute comics in it. Again, he has an Instagram account. Go check him out if you haven't already. But it's just really cute, and I wanted to support him, so I bought it and I read it. Then I read The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. Again, kind of similar to the other book that I had read. And again, an audiobook. I think sometimes I prefer self-help or self-help stuff like that while in audiobook form. I don't enjoy it as much when I'm physically reading it. I'm not sure why. Then I read Saga Volume 6 and Saga Volume 7. I believe I started the series in 2019, and then I was slowly just accumulating the different volumes from bookstores or Amazon. Then I read The Girl from the Other Side. These are books that I always pre-order because you always know way in advance when they're coming out, and I just love the series so much. Again, I'm not going to go into the synopsis, but it's just a really unique graphic novel. I don't think this is really a spoiler, but just like, they're simple black and white, but I don't know, there's something about it that's just unique. And then Saga Volume 8 and Saga Volume 9. And I think that wraps up Saga to where it is now. It ends on a cliffhanger, and we're waiting for the next book to come out. So I'm just waiting. Then I started and finished The Rules of Magic, and this started my slight obsession with this book series. I really, really liked this book. I might like this one better than the other two in the series. I'm not 100% sure, and I don't know if it's because I read this one first, so it was the one that introduced me to this world, but I just really liked it. Pretty sure I gave that a 5-star. Yeah, I did. Then I read The Hunger Games. So, I mean, I just read the whole trilogy, Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay. I believe, when did I read these? I believe this is when lockdown started. It was April. Yeah, so lockdown was in March. This was April. I believe I listened to them all in audiobook. Then I read The Biblical Basis for Modern Science. This is a hefty, large, difficult to read book. But I started it years and years ago, and I just said to myself, you know what, we're gonna finish this. So I just slowly read a couple pages here and there. Not the most exciting book in the world. Obviously, if you're not a Christian or you don't read the Bible, this isn't a book for you. Don't read it. Or read it if you want to see what it's about. But, yeah. Where are we? Okay, so next we read Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. This was an audiobook. I did like it. I mean, I feel like everyone loves Alice in Wonderland. And then I read Practical Magic because I finally got my hands on this. I had read the previous book and then needed to read this one. Then we read Get Out of Your Head, Stopping the Spiral of Toxic Thoughts. I feel like this is kind of the Christian equivalent to the previous two books that I read. I did enjoy this book. I feel like it was a little lacking in some areas, but it was overall fine. Then I read Through the Looking Glass, which is, I believe, like the sequel of Alice in Wonderland, kind of. I didn't like that as much as Alice in Wonderland, though. And then we have Steal Like an Artist. I really thought I had a physical copy of this, but I cannot for the life of me find it on my bookshelf. So I don't know if I lost it or if it's just hiding somewhere up here and I am blind. I don't know, but I read it. It's a good book. It's one of those like quick read ones. Then we have Dragonfly and Amber. I've been slowly chipping away at the series through audiobooks. It is such a long book, and I have let's just be real, I have a hard time reading this. It's just so small. The book is so long. I feel like it takes me so long to get through that I lose motivation because it's taking me forever to read. And audiobooks, while it's still like 48 hours of listening, if I listen while I'm getting ready for work or on my commute to work, it's just, you know, you slowly chip away at it. I enjoy the series. It's just long. Next, I read Fairest. I do have a physical copy, but I did listen to it on audiobook. This was kind of in a time where I was trying to get out of a reading slump, so I was trying to read smaller books. I find that for myself, if I'm having a hard time reading smaller books or books with really small chapters helps me kind of get out of that because I feel accomplished. It doesn't take as much time to finish something. And while I was at that, I read Stars Above, which probably wasn't a good choice because it wraps some stuff up that I think you're not supposed to like know until after you've read Winter, which is the last like main book in the series. And I haven't finished reading that one, so kind of spoiled some stuff for me, but I don't know, let's be real. I think most of the time we end up with a happy ending, so I kind of saw it coming even though I haven't read Winter yet. It's fine. After that, we have So You Want to Talk About Race. This is a interesting book, good book if you want to learn how to talk about race, especially I feel like as a white person, it's difficult to know what to say and what is appropriate to say and how you come across sometimes when you say the wrong thing. I don't know if that made any sense, but it's an interesting read. I read this for my work's book club. So they have a book club in every quarter. There's a new book, and it's not like a self-help book, but it's an informative book. It's never a fiction book. It's always an informative book on how like to better yourself or how to have conversations like this. This book we were reading when all the protests were going on or right after, kind of in that time. So it was really relevant to world events. Then I read Coraline, and this was actually while I was moving. I remember I was listening to this on audiobook while I was setting up all of my bookshelves and everything. Next we have Cress. Again, good book, good series. Then there is Magic Lessons, and I read this shortly after it came out because it was released this year. And then we have Fangs, which is a book by Sarah Anderson. I really enjoyed this book. I did think it was going to be a little more cohesive than it was, but basically it's just like little snippets of a vampire and werewolf's life together in their relationship. Overall, really cute, quick read. But yeah, it's a cute one. I like it. Then we have Fire Road. So this was about Napalm Girl, this girl on the cover here in Vietnam during the Vietnam War, and how her life kind of went. It was an interesting read. I don't tend to read a ton of nonfiction like this, but she came and spoke at my church last year or the year before, and I bought her book while she was there and had her sign it. And it was actually a really good read. Next is Voyager. Again, read this on audiobook. It's a thick boy. Then we have The Girl from the Other Side, Volume 9. I believe approximately 2 of these come out every year, so it's always 2 of the books on my list of books I've read that year. And then I read Bad Girls of the Bible. This is kind of like a devotional sort of situation. I've read 1 or 2 of Liz Curtis Higgs books before and enjoyed them, so I picked this up. And then I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I don't currently have with me, but here's what the cover looks like. It is an amazing book. I highly recommend it. I would probably say it's my favorite book that I've read all year. Would I say that? I think so. And then second would probably be Rules of Magic. I really loved it. It was a good book. Read it. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. The only reason I don't have a physical copy with me at the moment is because I just lent it to a friend so she could read it. So next, I read the entire Scott Pilgrim series. So books 1 through 6. This was for the this was not for the 24-hour readathon. This was for the Thankful-a-thon and the 1,000 Door readathon. So I read all of these. And also for the Thankful-a-thon was With the Fire on High. I definitely like this book a lot more than I thought I would. I haven't read a lot of contemporary, I'm realizing, because I read a lot of, or if I do, it's like thriller, but I read a lot of like, I don't know, not contemporary. I'm trying to think of the genres I read, but it's kind of scattered. And then I also read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. What's funny is that I finally decided to read the Hunger Games trilogy this year, and I guess that was good timing because then this book came out, and I didn't have a huge gap between the series. Granted, even if you did, because this takes place before the Hunger Games, it wouldn't have been a big deal, but there are some things that like kind of connect, and it's nice to have understood and have more recently read and have in my brain the original trilogy. Then I've read 13 Reasons Why. This is part of a mystery box that I ordered. There will be a video on it, so I'll go more into depth on that later. And then The Taker. This is another one that I liked more than I thought I would. Not an amazing book, but it's better than I thought it would be. And then finish this today is just this devotional book. It was just like a daily devotional, a short little thing with like a Bible verse and a little something. And also finished this today, which brought me exactly to 50 books. I listened to this on audiobook even though I have a physical copy, but I just barely made my goal on Goodreads of 50 books by finishing this off. So that is every book that I've read this year. 50 books. Let me know in the comments how many books you've read and what your favorite book from this year is. Either your favorite release or your favorite book that you read this year. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!